Authors Class.
My name is Dr. Francis Pitard. My expertise in sampling, in statistical process control, and total quality management. I do work for many companies around the world. I have my own consulting company for many years. I am the author of several books. Some are technical books that are well known around the world. Some are my novels. 2 historical novels, 1 biography. It's from Normandy to the hell of Ravensbruck. It's a true story of a woman that happened to be my great aunt that went in a concentration camp for about 8 months. 1 week before the end of the war, the camp was liberated by the Russians. She managed to escape during bombing. She went to the American front. She knew where the American front was from the noise in the forest. So she went to the front between German and American. And on her way to the American line, she found one soldier that had a broken leg. She saved his life and bring him to his unit. For this, she got Medal of Freedom from the Americans. I am about 81 years old. I was born in 1942 during World War II. It was rough because my parents lost everything they had under the bombing in Normandy. So it took us many years to recover from the damage. It was not easy, and we had many problems in the family about what we call PTSD, post-traumatic. For example, I was terrified by planes until I was 10 years old. My great aunt was a sister of my grandmother on my father's side. Her name was Aline Virmoux, and she was working for the French resistance during World War II. So her husband, they got caught in 1944, so they finished in a concentration camp. He went to Dachau for the men, and she went to Ravensbrück, the concentration camp for women, where she survived. When I went to school in Paris at university, I was visiting her once a month because she was in a little home close to Paris. It was easy for me to take the train and visit her, and we talked a lot. And that is where I learned about all the details of what she went through in the concentration camp. It was not easy because she was very reluctant to talk about her problems in a concentration camp. She never accepted to talk to journalists or get interviewed like I am today. But she was willing to talk to her family, my father, me, and she opened up completely. It ended up to be very emotional when she will cry about her bad memories. It was not easy. Several instances she was very close to lose her life with the punishment because of what she was doing that was not in line to behave. She was a very strong person mentally and physically, and she didn't take that kind of stuff without making resistance. She was lucky to survive this. I did not to take notes. What she told me is impossible to forget. Because there are things that human beings should not do. The torture, the medical experiment on prisoners, the killing with no mercy. Many details like this that are absolutely shocking when you go through the detail, and this is all in the book. When she passed away, I was about 30 years old, and I was very sad to see her go. But nevertheless, she was in my memories after that until today. I knew I will write the book because it was necessary to do so. She was very reluctant. She was very private, but she knew I will do that. It took me many years. I thought about it for a long time. At the beginning, I didn't write a book because I didn't have enough experience in writing. However, when I started to write my first historical novel, Heirs of a Lost Race, with the sequel of Upon Settlers, I developed more confidence on that. And then my family pushed me to write that book. And also, a good friend of mine told me once, when I told him the story, and he said, Francis, you must write that book because this is a story that was stolen from us. That statement went a long way in my mind. I say, I have to write that book. All the details in that book ought to be known by many people around the world, especially young people that take for granted that their life is very safe. It is not. They have to be careful about how they handle their future. The kind of scenery we see in that book, the kind of thing people do to each other, it's universal. It was done many thousand years ago, it was done 100 years ago, and it will be done 100 of years from now. It does not matter what time we talk about. You can look at what's going on in Ukraine today, in Venezuela, in Afghanistan. We never learn our lesson. We keep repeating the same mistakes in a different context, but it's the same mistakes. We cannot live in peace. I developed an attitude in my life where my top priority is to live in peace with everyone. I don't like conflict. I say to my grandchildren always, please don't fight for futilities. I am interested about many things. One day I'm going to wake up and I want to do some painting. Another day I wake up, we are going to go to the mountains to collect wild mushrooms. We have a passion for that. And I love gardening. I love watching birds. I enjoy many things. My granddaughter, she say, you are a Renaissance man. I have simple needs. I am not a complex person. I live in a luxury home, but I don't need people the best car. They want all sorts of machinery to be happy, you know. They want to do golfing and spend a lot of money on this. I have simple needs. I am happy just do gardening, going fishing, collect wild mushrooms, do snorkeling. When I was in the South Pacific, almost became a fish, you know, because I was snorkeling every day. I have simple needs. I don't read very much. Most of my reading is scientific book. I love astronomy, I love research. This is kind of books I read. You see, all of those have something to do with archaeology, and mainly in the South Pacific. This is the kind of reading I enjoy. It inspires me, especially learning from very ancient people. I say, we don't understand our past. It's kind of sad. A lot of things have been lost. We have a lot to learn from ancient people. My first job was in French Polynesia. I was based in Tahiti for 3 years. At the time, I was in French Polynesia to monitor the radioactive fallback of the experimentation they were doing in the South Pacific. So we had to take samples on all the islands and things like that. That is how I got interested by archaeology in the South Pacific, going from island to island, talking to people. I developed a passion about knowing more about ancient Polynesians. I was fascinated by their ancient philosophy. Their ancient philosophy is beautiful, and I strongly recommend that people read more about philosophers from many countries. Even if I didn't write a book, but all along in my life, I took notes of what I was doing. And those notes, they were gold for me when I decided to write the books many years later. I went back to those notes. When you write, he wakes up at night. When he says, this is too good, you get up and take half a page. Then after that, you work on it later. It's important sometimes you have that little light in your brain, click, and where are you at the time? Waiting for a plane? I did a lot of writing waiting for planes, by the way, because I travel a lot. So, and I will write in the plane as well. It can happen anytime. And I also got inspired by Jack London. He was 18, and he said, I will never spend one day of my life without to write at least one page. That's a beautiful philosophy. It works, little by little. This is always what I do with my books. People always tell me, how can you do all that stuff? Where do you find the time? Because I have a commitment every day to do a little. It's an iteration process, never give up. It goes a long way. You know, we are prisoners of that new system with the age of computer. It's inescapable. But it is very sad if you become prisoner of it. You have to find a nice balance about new technology and writing and old knowledge. They don't even teach cursive in school anymore. When you write, what is working in your brain is far deeper, more substantial than when you watch a screen in a passive way. You learn nothing, or at least you don't remember. It's going to go from here to here, just like that. My advice to a young writer is to have a vision about yourself. Like all Polynesians say, what do they say? They say who you are, it's irrelevant. Say, okay, when what is relevant? What is relevant is who you want to be, the person you want to be. They should start very small. The most important thing, if you want to write a book, is to have a vision about who you are and what you want for yourself. In other words, have a dream about yourself. Then we're going to go somewhere. This is a new publication of the book. You can find the book directly from Auto Press, or you can find it in Amazon, in Barnes & Noble. And in Barnes & Nobles, you don't find the book on shelf, but it is in their computer. Last time I went to LA, I sold one to one lady that was a teacher, and she made a beautiful review of my book. She said the book is fascinating. It's important for teenagers to read that book.